What is up, y'all? It's your boy Anaki coming at you with another episode of the Kaguarbachi live reaction series that we've started. We are on part 3 of the Seitei War arc, and we left off with the sushi chef on screen. So we know that he's one of the enchanted blade users. We know that he's gonna eventually, more than likely, uh, end up referring Rokuhira or be in awe of Rokuhira's prodigious eyes. Where do you know all of that? So all that remains is to see how this conversation goes, where they going. And if I'm honest, we may not even be going that direction. The way it may actually go is they may just go ahead and throw a curveball. Just focus on the Chiaki, but we'll see. Uh, we will see. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So, with that being said, let me just move that over here so I can actually see the chat. Let's get the chapter rolling. My last stream ended kind of abruptly because OBS just crashed, and I went, all right, well, I guess that's enough streaming for the day. But that was a gaming stream, not a bocce stream. Let's get it popping. Music today is Because the Internet by Childish Gambino from 2013, my all-time favorite album. So, all right, we're starting off chapter 115, Swordsmith. Translation, as always, done by Camelia Nosh, Nie, and Phil Christine did the lettering. Lettering is an important skill. I am very glad that they do credit letters. Joji, Mr. Hatsumi, what's up? Shiba's up to something. What? That stupid punk? When's he gonna learn to follow orders? You better not mess this up. We have a very important guest. I'm Subaru Urita. Thank you for having us. This is my apprentice. Hey, Cameron Bailey, because if nobody got me, Cameron Bailey got me. Hey, yo, the blob in the building right away. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for having us. This is my apprentice. So he wears 2 hats, swordsmith and sushi chef. No, he's also a certified master of the sand and bone one blade style. That's 3 hats. I wear 1 hat. All right. He's definitively like a jack of all trades is a master of none. I would never do that. Crap, you heard us. But sushi encompasses everything. Making sushi, forging swords, the art of the blade. They are all nigiri, the craft I have dedicated myself to. Huh. 2 hats for see, okay, so this is a good example of like why localizing is useful, because 2 sandals would mean nothing in English, whereas it clearly means the same in Japanese. I don't envy people who have to like translate these at all professionally, because there's somewhere out there, there's a guy who's mad about it, but it's supposed to be like the same concept but different. Nigiri means grasp and is the verb applied to making sushi. It can also be applied to gripping a sword. I see. Really? We have performed extensive research on the tremendous energy produced by the Datsensaki. The issue is that activating it is tantamount to suicide. When you channel spirit energy into it, it produces an enormous burst of energy, which surges instantly into the person's body and explodes. However, there is a way to temporarily divert that spirit energy, similar to how a battery stores excessive electrical charge. Then stable utilization is theoretically possible. Katana and spirit energy, Subaru Irute. Your sword master Urita, your swords, Master Urita, are known as exceptionally smooth conduits of spirit energy. To put it simply, they're compatible with spirit energy. The secret, according to your book, is that the materials are absolutely critical. You give several examples of materials that are excellent conduits of spirit energy. Based on that concept, we've been researching whether those materials could be skillfully leveraged as conduits to divert its spirit energy, but in all of our studies, we haven't found any scientific evidence that supports an affinity between these materials and spirit energy. Master Urita, we wonder if perhaps, as a swordsmith, you might have insight beyond the realm of our understanding. We're hoping you can illuminate us. You won't find any evidence. It is utter hogwash. My dog. Bocce translations have become so much better. We had a really rough patch during the 60 to 100 stretch. Okay. Okay. I do need to go. I should at some point go back and read like fan translations for this series, only because fan translations have gotten a lot better as well. Because there have been some egregious fan translations back in the day that really put me off. Like I'm talking 2010s era. There were some pretty egregious fan translations that I stumbled upon that just completely changed meanings of series as far as like, ugh. I don't think that I don't think we've had John Weary level terrorism unless the Blob can confirm. But I also don't think we've done anything as bad as what accidentally happened with Caleb Cook when he just said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving Twitter because I'm sick of this fandom." I miss having Caleb Cook around. No material conducts spirit energy. But in your book, pure rubbish. I pulled that out of my ass. What? I'm not about to tip my hand to a bunch of. Yeah, I figured. I'm not about to tip my hand to a bunch of swordsmith wannabes. It's better to spread lies and create confusion. Is it better? I'm not sure it's better. That's messed up. Wait, if the materials don't matter, then how do you forge a sword that conducts spirit energy? The secret is simple. I forge it. Oh, wait. Hey, see, I like when things are done in a style that like fits how people talk. The downside to this is that mimetic translations are trapped within the zeitgeist of their era. Like there's certain things that even though they make sense, will not age as well. Um, for example, I like the fact that Horikoshi tried to have what up, Tiger Blaster? Tried to have Kami use a lot of current slang, but obviously, if somebody watches My Hero in 20 years or reads it in 20 years, it's going to read as utter gibberish unless they make sure to have lots of translation notes to explain that even within the time frame, certain slang utilized was not like prevalent. Blah 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 blah. But in some ways, that'll also give it a bit of charm. I do think it's kind of okay to date yourself too, so it's a little bit of both sides. All right, so we get the pencil toss. All right, slice it. What the? Mmm. I feel like that's a weird. It's a weird. So that's the other thing about translation that I think a lot of people forget. And I'm not saying you necessarily forget this, but I think it does get lost in the sauce because this is one of those things that Caleb Cook complained about when people were mad at him about the dynamite naming, which is that they do their translations and then like editorial decides which parts of their translation is staying, and then we'll be like, yeah, we're gonna tweak this, tweak that. Like they tweaked the dynamite spelling, for example, and then after fan pushback, they like switched it to how it was supposed to be spelled. And so I do wonder that, like, when you get inconsistencies like Cloud Gouger versus the Japanese swords names, if that was like editorial being like early in the series, let's try to make it as accessible as possible, and then now we'll let you have a bit more freedom to do things as you will, blah blah blah. So I do wonder how much is like the translator versus how much is editorial. We'll obviously never know because most translators are likely under NDAs where they can't explain, you know, that specific context. Yeah, and I think that that's a lot of like I think that's a lot of the editorial team more than it is the translators. At least in my opinion, that's probably what it is. I think a lot of things operate with like faces and then like bureaucrats, and a lot of things bureaucrats do hurt faces. And so I always try to give like space and grace for facing like customer facing roles because you just never know how much shit like they would do a certain way but aren't allowed to. So it's I try not to be too hard on translators directly because it's always more than just one person working on these projects. And we got to remember that. Obviously, like sometimes like Weary was egregious. Like like Weary was actually egregious for a lot of the stuff that I saw. Um and some of the stuff that I read that I was like, that doesn't seem right. Uh to the extent where I'm like, did nobody have oversight? Did nobody check his work? Like, what was going on? Was he just using like an AI? Like, is John Weary secretly just an AI tool they tried to have you do translations for the series, and that's why there was no fucking firing that guy? Like, because the translator before John Weary was Stephen Koza, and he was good at his job, but he was also a pedophile. So I don't know. Oh, I think allegedly, just in case. You're a good sword fighter. Come. Was that necessary? Yeesh. No. Nice sword, too. One of Kazefune's finest pieces. But I'm sure you'll feel the difference. Try holding my sword. Oh, may I? My latest work. It's made of ordinary steel and scrap iron, nothing special. So the difference is only in the technique, as if the quality of artisanship wasn't enough. Beyond that, he can alter the material's actual conductivity of spirit energy? I wonder. I, hey, yo. Whoa. Hey, welcome back, Alves. Happy Sunday to you too, my brother. Oh, that's quite the difference. Impressive, right? Huh? Was that an illusion? Just drawing the blade altered the whole atmosphere. It must have been terrifying for these academics with no battle experience. Still, how? When lightning strikes, it seeks out places of high electrical conductivity, thin air, high humidity. It splinters as it strikes. Spirit energy is the same. Through minute disturbances to carbon content and structural variations produced by the quenching process, minute pathways are produced in the blade that allow spirit energy to flow. I call them veins. Normally, such veins are naturally occurring, but I designed them so that spirit energy channeled through the blade circulates with zero waste purely to slice. That's why my blades have the pristine ability to slay. Okay, we're cooking, we're cooking. So this is the ultimate blade. The ability to achieve this, even the capacity to recognize a phenomenon, is rare in a swordsmith. Even those who perceive it can't forge a blade as well as me, right? So, if this Daten Saki produces immense levels of spirit energy, If I create the appropriate veins, it should be possible to control it. And if that works, I could bring to life a truly enchanted blade. Okay, we're cooking. Thank you for this elephant. My daughter gave me an elephant. I'm gonna get you, JD. Ah! He tried to get you. Now let's see. And then, oh, as Sheba appears. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sheba. Ah, okay. Yoto. Sheba, what are you doing? I tried to stop him. You know these guys? Sheba, you stupid son of a. Hang on. Let me at least What's up, little baby? Does your elephant like the strawberry? Yeah. Is the elephant full? Everybody pees. Everybody poops. Good job, elephant. Wanna go play with mommy? High five, elephant. Uh. Uh. Do you need a magic movie? All right, let's see what magic movie we're gonna put on for you, little baby. One of the greatest, like, there being an app for everything is often really annoying, but there being an app that I can just like leverage as an Xbox controller, not one of those things. Let's see. Let's put on a magic movie for, and magic movie just means Disney movie in this house. That's just what my daughter calls them. Let's see if she chooses to watch Raya and the Last Dragon again. You want this one? You want Rio too? That one? All right. There we go. All right. Rio 2 it is. Hey yo, look. Don't put an ad on my movie, dog. Chill out with that. My daughter is here to watch movies. All right. All right, back to the chapter. Hang on, let me at least introduce you. This is Kunishiga Rokuhira. He forges katanas, and he made this. Rokuhira. Never heard of him. Dude, aren't you Arita? Put her there. Hey, show the master proper respect, pal. Strong grip. How many katana have you forged? Total? A little over 200, I'd say. What? That many at your age? Impossible. Unless you've been breaking the association's regulation of 2 per month. What is that? Wait, is that even possible? Dude, chill. If they're good katana, who cares? If you've made that many swords and nobody's heard of you, doesn't that prove they're nothing special? Can't argue with that. More importantly, Rokuhira, food. Go share your findings. All right, here we go. We're getting into the nerdy shit. The nerdy aspect of Rokuhira. Love this. The Datsun Sake reacts strongest to spirit energy, but it's also capable of amplifying heat. It doesn't do much if you just hit it with a flame, but if you gradually raise its temperature, it becomes increasingly sensitive. Just eyeballing it, I'd estimate that at about 1000 degrees, its reactivity to the heat will equal its reactivity to spirit energy. In other words, before it reaches the melting point of iron ore, which means that to forge it, I can't read his writings. Hang on, is this guy with the Sorcery Bureau? No. How does he know about our findings? You leaked this stuff to an outsider? Stop writing. You don't belong here. I can tell you the next part. You're trying to figure out how to process the Dakinsaki so it can be forged, but if you force it to melt, it sets off a chain reaction that causes an explosion and people die. It can't be forged. I can do it. Giga Chad. That's what the kids call it, right? Hang on, who is this guy? Since when can you just bring your pal to your government job? I'm terrifyingly sorry about this. These men will be severely punished. Punished? Shiba, we'll discuss this later. What he explained in there. True, we'd already discovered those facts through our research, but nobody ever disclosed those findings to Shiba. Why would we? Needless to say, not to Mashiro either. Blah blah. Totally obedient to. I like this little depiction of their relationship because it's Shiba runs around talking, and the other one's just subservient to him. How could that guy possibly know all that? It's been less than 12 hours since that phone call. Guy's got special eyes. He can't possibly have figured out all that in so little time just by looking at it. Hey! Why is that man unknown? All right, and everybody's confused. They're giving him the look. Congratulations, you're one of the chosen. You get special treatment because I trust you. Apparently, he's super selective about who he sells his katana to. That's also why he's starving to death. Cheeky punk. Shiba, where's my food? I thought he was gonna kill me. Okay. So I like this chapter because it's kind of an info dump chapter, which means we probably don't need to go like an hour long this week. But I like that we're getting like an expansion on the dynamics, right? Because it's clear why Shiba's not in the Kamunabi these days. Like very clear. I think we can all agree on that. That the fact that he just does whatever is not compatible with, consistently working a government job. Like it just isn't. you can't just be running around like this, my guy. But in that same token, we're also seeing that like just how like much like how truly except nobody's going to be giving this chapter a 7.5 out of 10. I'd like to say, because this is actually like kind of like 10 out of 10 as far as like info dump chapters go. Okay, actually I'll say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. The reason I'm going to say 9 out of 10 because I've had even crazier like info dump chapters. So I'm going to put this as like a 9 out of 10 info dump chapter. But this is how you can do info dumps because he's got him giving like a full breakdown. But the whole point of him doing this breakdown is to highlight like the info dump we're getting here is more characterization, like the understanding of science and the way like Rokuhiro's mind actually works, what sets him apart from everybody else. As much as we talk about the speciality of his eyes, it's his brain combined with those eyes. Because if he wasn't able to like think about the calcs behind, what temperature and all this other stuff is exactly what really sets him apart. And having the Nigiri master, like we're gonna say the Nigiri master because I want to respect what he said his craft is, and how to a certain degree it's kind of like so the other thing I kind of like about this sushi chef thing is that I am also a One Piece reader watcher, and there is exactly one fight in the entire series where like Sanji truly uses his hands, and it's the fight on the sea train against Wanze, who is a ramen kempo specialist. And when that dude puts on a battle mech suit made out of ramen, we finally get to see Sanji do sword fighting, and he specifically cuts the armor in such a way that he perfectly dices all the ramen off the man's body without touching his skin. And so like that Nigiri like handling the grip and it being both the combat aspect as well as the applying it to sushi is like I love that shit, man. It's not a loophole. It's It is barely a technicality. It's a different way of seeing things. And it's important that like when you write a story that you're capable of doing perspective because it lets you do so much more with power. And we see like perspective which think about what happened when Kumayuri got in the hands of Crazy Kid. Y'all know I keep messing up these lines. I want to say he's Hirahuka. But when he got a hold of it, he was using play to move corpses, but corpses typically didn't count as a viable target for that ability. But because of his own perspective on objects, boom, you know. So perspective being power is always important. Like look at JJK, where Megumi was apparently one of the few Ten Shadows users to understand that you could actually go into the shadows. Like just boogie woogie, like perspective matters for power systems, and it's really good to have small nuances like this because his perspective is also going to play into obviously how he uses his enchanted blade. Uh, so like the fact that he can like see many things as one is going to like definitely lead into how his abilities are leveraged, as well as like what his mastery of them is. Um, and that's the thing is that the enchanted blade abilities changing according to their user is something that I'm hoping we see expounded upon more, especially because from what we understand, Cloud Gouger works the same way for like largely the same way for Soga up until he like realized, I can do other things. Let me try other moves as it did for the original user. So in turn, I'm wondering how far removed a second generation Enchanted Blade user can be from a first generation Enchanted Blade user. Will you have somebody who's able to basically completely rewrite what the blade does just because they're using it? In addition to that, if N10 is like if N10 were to be wielded by somebody else, would it still have the fish motif, or is that something that is very specific to um, Chihiro because of his bond with his father? And now that he's reforging the blade by himself, will it maintain that fish motif, or will it have a fish motif with something else? Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. Sojo, namers. So I really want to see, like, especially this particular user, because he has such a refined like worldview, and he's an older guy. He should have a pretty strict and like formalized perspective on how his enchanted blade is used to the extent that whoever gets it after him, because I do think this is somebody who's gonna not gonna get to keep their blade. Their perspective should be different enough that the sword might look like a completely different weapon. And then even the fact that he very clearly respects Kunishiga as a bladesmith, this says to me he can already tell that at minimum at this point Kunishige is on the same level as him, or he's already decided that he's a higher level swordsmith than he is. One of the two. But undoubtedly, he can tell that Kunishiga has the veins in his sword, and he's been able to craft those as well. And thank you for that, Blob. Want to make sure I acknowledge that because, like I said, I'm horrible at remembering names in this series. Uh, Also, when this kid dies, because this death is coming, like genuinely, not a matter of if, a matter of when. It's going to hurt because this guy, like, yes, he's funny. Yes, there's all these comedic moments, but you can tell he's an actually down to earth, decent friend. He's just like a stand up guy, and this world is Kill Bill, John Wick, whatever you want to call it. It's not a long world for nice guys. So it's gonna hit like a truck, and I wonder if he's gonna be somebody who dies either like in an experiment, like trying to use one of like a prototype enchanted blade, and he dies using that one. Because the thing is, he's currently. Oh, this is 100% the calm before the storm. This is a nutty level of it. Like, I think the turning point is going to have to be somebody successfully getting on the island. Like, man, it's going to be so bad. And honestly, because they're in a what looks like a temporary holding cell, this is more than likely when Chiaki and Nakamura show up. Or at the very least, Chiaki, since they called her a princess. This is how we find out what kind of princess she is. Is she just a clan princess for that specific clan? Or is she going to be, like an actual princess, like as far as for the nation of Japan? What's up, princess? Silly genie. So yeah. But then I like the fact that we're getting people with decent designs, even if they're throwaway characters. Like, I don't expect this swordsman wearing a mask to come back up in the story. Like, he just doesn't seem like he's going to be that important. But he got a mask. He has a unique, like, he's got a nose ring. He's got actual detail put into him. It's always good to, like, throw a little extra effort on your background characters. But overall, oh yeah, well, I guess he is Joji. Well, but I just don't see him being relevant long term. But and the other thing about this too is that I like that we're getting like that characterization as far as him being like, "Nah, I made it up, bro. There's no special materials. I just said that shit." What are you doing, little baby? What you doing? What you trying to do? You got a piece of paper in your hair. Here, wanna wave? Say hi. Say hi. I wonder if it's more like the Imperial Japan with the honorary emperor, if it's more like the Shogun in the Edo period. I think it's gonna be more like the Shogun because I feel like because they were hiding his power, or like because they were hiding the sorcery branch for so long, I feel like the Shogun could realistically have like a lot of power. Well, actually, I guess. See, now I'm conflicted. But yeah, no, I'm still leaning towards Shogun because I feel like now, they say like the Kamunabi runs the country basically, and so that would make the current emperor more honorary than the one from this era. So, hi.
Daddy, 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 daddy,
Nosy.
daddy, 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 daddy,
Silly genie.
daddy, daddy.
You're so precious, little genie. So yeah. Which the other part about this is that obviously, where this seems like it's going is the sushi chef vouching for him and being like, "No, get Kunishiga out of there. I want to work with him," and that'll be like what leads into this. So what'll be cool about this too is that it'll give like Kunishiga had that awful apprenticeship that we saw, like the one where he was coming home with stuff sticking out of his head. And I think this will allow him to work with a veteran who's gonna, even though he's like better than him in like raw skill, I think there's gonna be some technical refinement, and it's kind of gonna be like a brainchild like that they work on together. With Konishiga getting the main credit. as the one who like refines and executes the idea. Hey. Here, where's the karaoke mic from Mama? Where's Mommy's karaoke microphone? Well, go find it. Can't rob me from my microphone. Go find the one you play with for Mommy. But yeah, like I think he's gonna help polish. You can't just go close the door on your mom. But yeah, like he's gonna refine Rokuhira, use the sword because Rokuhira isn't a swordsman at all. Um, which I also wonder how many, because I do think that depending on how we're executing this arc, if this arc is a true info dump in and outside of the story, it could be nice to cut away to Chihiro at certain points. Because I want to say this carefully because I don't want it to be taken the wrong way. Chihiro should be a decent swordsmith. He should not be a swordsmith on the level of his father quite yet. So having it kind of cut in between the two as he like works to reshape Cloud Gouger and works on the N10, as he like refines his ideas and then has something that he discusses in the within the flashback itself to be the thing that lets him kind of put it together, even though the person telling him all this information might not know what he put together to get there, would probably be a nice touch. Also, yes, this is going to be a case of dumb and dumber, but they're smart and smarter. And that will create a fun character dynamic. Yeah, like I think this is a good way to like I think this is the perfect way to like intersperse like his swordsmith training with like this flashback information. And like even if you don't have somebody be telling him this, just if you have him reaching similar conclusions that we see Kunishige go through while he's processing and working on the swords, that's fine too. Because you could tell me that Kunishige's real technique was infusing spirit energy into the hammer that he was using to iron out and pound on the sword, and I would go, oh, that works. But like something is like I do want like some refinement on that, and I want Chihiro to have to refine that too, because we've gotten focused on his swordsmanship, but his real dream was to be a blacksmith anyway, and he was primarily relying on just the sorcery powers within the enchanted blade anyway. Yes, themes and parallel. Thank you. I am a themes and parallels merchant, and I am not ashamed to admit it. Like the other day, I was looking at some meme posted. People were like, "Yeah, themes and such, nigga," and I was like, "Yeah, themes and such. What about it? Yeah, themes and such. I'm here for it." Yeah, I'd I'd love for Subaru and Chihiro to meet up. If it doesn't happen, which okay, so that's the other thing too, is that of the Enchanted Blade users we've been introduced to, I don't think if somebody goes to hey, what up? I don't think somebody should be able to like pull up on Subaru and just like have an easy time. Because of the fact that he's like the sushi chef, nigiri is his craft. He's always focused on like handling the blades. He's always going to be still doing knife work and stuff. Like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody attempted to assassinate him and he put up a fight with just a kitchen knife. Like straight up. Let him show off, because I understand. Like they were like Cloud Gouger's user was just chilling in hot springs. He was just chilling in the hot spring, bro. And Uruha was also kind of slacking. Like he himself admitted, yeah, I've been slacking. Subaru, based on what we've gotten out of him, should not be off screen. Like I expect him to die, but he should get a pretty decently cool moment. Like he should have like a battle, like a real nigga fight. Like there's not a good reason for him to go out that way. Is all I'm saying. Uh, exactly. Like he was like they were just like slacking off. So and I hope at the very least that the news about them, like the other ones dying, traveled. So even if you weren't practicing for the past 15 years, you getting your shit together now. Like, I'm sorry, but if you turned on the news and saw that like Akamura Soga is free, Do something. Don't just wait for him to find you. Don't just sit there with poop in your pants in fear. You gotta do something, bro. You gotta do something. And that something can't just be shitting yourself or sitting there patiently for death. Like, I guess if you want a Sudoku, fine, Sudoku. But like you gotta you gotta do something, man. You can't just let it happen. Like, unless you're gonna team up with them, which I do think one of them should probably be on his side. Not because like aura or anything like that. Just I feel like at least one other person in the crew has to be a little fucked up in the head. Like at least one of them should have been like, "Yeah, I'm stopping this nigga," but do I really disagree with him? I don't know. Like, like exactly. Like that would be the first thing that made me like really complain about how Hokusano was written. Because the thing is that I'm a let him cook merchant. I like if I don't like a decision, sometimes I'll straight up say I don't like this choice, but let's see where it goes because it could still be valuable. But once you get into like the back nine, like the latter half of the series, and really not even the back nine, like the back three holes, like we're getting real close to the end. That's when I'm like, nah, bro, this sucked, this sucked, this sucked. I don't think this decision was worth it. Blah blah blah. So, but like if all of them just sit on their ass, nah, bro. Here's the thing: none of them could do anything to Soga. That's true. They not doing anything to him, but that don't mean you let shit get done to you. Like, because like, all right, if Mike Tyson says we fighting today, and you in a room, and all of a sudden somebody locks the door, are you gonna stand there with your arms at your sides, or are you at least gonna try to block? Like, you can't just let him beat your ass. You gotta do something. I definitely do think he was like Subaru was a frontliner. And you know what? I'd be fine with the woman being badass and evil. Um, Especially because a lot of like even though Kaguarbachi hasn't shied away from letting Hiyuki, who's as far as I know supposed to be a woman, I thought Hiyuki was a woman, fight and have blood drawn pretty early on. I would love to see Flamebone versus the woman sword bearer because they usually do gendered matchups in these series. That's just the way it is. I understand Shonen Jump, blah blah blah. But that would be a pretty good matchup, just off like women of different eras, what strength means to them, how you define that, what they're fighting for, etc. So also definitely some like just like I said, how like at least one person needed to be on the side. At least one person has to be like, man, why I gotta get my chain of blade because of him. This my whip. This my car. Like why I can't drive because he don't know how to why because he done crashed the whip. Somebody had to feel some type of way about that. I'm not trustworthy because he sucks. Lame. Man, Azami, dude, getting an Azami flashback is gonna be sick because when we got the background on his lore and it explained that he basically pissed off his parents by being a fighter, I was like, oh, there's a lot in that. Also, he technically is using a sorcery that is primarily used for like medicine. So I think it'd be kind of cool if we see him like. I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that wants Shiba to be OP Nick Fury, and he's like, "Hey, I met this guy at this doctor's clinic. I decided to recruit him." Like I don't know. That just seems like his character at this point. Like he's got Oh my god, why do I? I gotta. I'm gonna have to just reread this series like 4 times so I can like have every name memorized. But he's got this guy who's like his lapdog. He went and collected Kunishige. If he recruited Azami, it just makes sense because Azami's like rebellious as shit, and so it makes sense that he got him in there. Hell, I can find out that he recruited Hikuki too, and it would make sense to me. Like, right, like he is kind of like Luffy. Like, I'm gonna just show up and do things. Like, yeah, I'm OP, but you know, it's whatever. Like, and like, yeah, like he's got Mashiro, he's got Kunishige. Like, let him go ahead and collect his little Avengers, his old little pirate crew. Especially because you get this congratulations, you're one of the chosen panel, right? Like, the idea of Sheba just going around and like choosing people is kind of fun. Like, yeah, Azami coming in himself makes sense for his character too. I just think with the fact that the Kamunabi is said to have been a secret and like how secretive the sorcery side of the government is at this time period. Like, obviously his own family has sorcery, but you never know. Like, it just like I want to see where Sheba's connection is because everybody seems to have a relationship with Sheba that's personal. Like, because even if you think about the early chapters when the zombie showed up, he kind of was like, yeah, but it's Sheba. Like, he just kind of trusted him with Chihiro, and it was like, oh yeah, that's an enchanted blade, and I'm not supposed to let that go. But he's with you, Sheba, so whatever. So if they just go back, I think that's like the easiest way to justify those character decisions. And like he could already be their friend too, obviously, yeah, like you're saying, Alves. So it's like the pieces are there for these characters to have established relationships. It's just that how you get them all into the Kamunabi, how you bring them together as a team, that's the part that now we're trying to shape. Like, how do we get everybody together? And I think that's one of the easiest ways to do it is to have Sheba just be Nick Fury and kind of pull people together. And if that's like how the first squad is built, because obviously we're just looking at their friendship squad. We're not necessarily talking about the swordsman that was clearly just the swordsman squad. That was clearly just people who were conscripted or already fighters or swordsmen who like wanted to like audition and join the military, etc. So exactly, like I feel like Azami has to show up relatively soon. Like I guess he could just not be relevant in the Seitei War, but I'd have to double check how old he's supposed to be. I do kind of want to see the original Cloud Gouger user too, because I just want to let him show off a bit, especially because we all we've gotten about him is that he's washed. What about you want me to eat the elephant? You want me to eat him? I'm so full. So yeah, then Azami should show up. So yeah, like Azami showing up sometime soon would be greatly appreciated. Man. Also, I think it's crazy that any of the this like I hope that there's actually more to the story of him letting himself go. Because when you really think about it, if I saw the Magatsumi, and this is me personally, if I was there that day and one dude cooked 250,000 people while I was trying to actively stop him and murder him, and then turned himself in because he was like, let me just take that sword out of me. Yeah, I'm done killing people. I'll go to jail. I'm sorry, but I'm not slacking off. Bro, like, I'm I'm not sitting in prison or like on house arrest being lazy. Like, bro. Like, I'm developing new technique. Like, Samura came out with new techniques and ideas for how to use his sword and had like developed new techniques to, like inject people with the Phoenix Flame, kill them, resurrect them, blah blah blah. But like, nigga, me? Oh, you better believe. Um, what do you hear? What does the elephant hear? I hear a genie singing. Yeah, like, what are you here, Genie? But yeah, like I don't understand. I'm assuming he's getting out of jail. You couldn't convince me that nigga was staying locked up. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I'm assuming that Soga is going to come get me. Like I like there's no way I'm actually believing he's staying locked up. And I hope, and that's part of the reason why I hope Subaru is still at least in good condition. At least one of these niggas gotta still be fresh. Like, oh, I knew you were coming. Let's go. Like, crack a glass bottle. Like, I've been training so much I can kill with anything. It don't even matter, bro. Like, somebody got to be ready. That's all I'm saying. Like, obviously, that's something we can worry about later, but that's just something I'm throwing out there. I feel like at least one person has to be ready. Yeah, they had to keep him alive. They couldn't even. I don't even think they could kill him. I don't think they could kill him. I think they weren't able to. They might have tried to, but I know that they wanted to like let the swordsman live. And like, so it's like I'm sure some of them want like right, like I'm sure some of them wanted him dead. I'm sure at least one person was on his side, but was like dog. Like I just feel like nah, he should have like at least some of them got to be ready, bro. Yeah, see, I'm like bad at the names, but I'm remembering the details like that. So like, just remember that when you watch me. I mean, if Chiaki ends up being one of the swordsmen, that'd be appreciated. I mean, it would suck too, because that part of it would be like, well, then why didn't you just have Rokuhira and or Kunishiga and her together? But like that just don't. Yeah, that does seem like a well. It'll you know what? That'll come down to how scrappy she is when we meet her, right? Like not to compare her to Sakura, but if she's scrappy like Sakura and like part two Sakura, I'm talking about, then like I can see being like, all right, I can't stop you, so here's a nuke, baby. Take this nuke, which you love. Come back. You know, some people give their wife flowers, some people give their wives nukes. It works. That's love. You got to give your partner the gift that fits their lifestyle. She's not your average girl. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's a magical material carved into a sword that allows for the elimination of millions. Like, you just don't know. So, yeah, no, I don't think she actually is it because I still think she's dead. Like, I genuinely do think she's dead, and I do think that's going to be a big part of this flashback is her death, like why it happened. Man, if we find out that Chihiro was conceived because Kunishiga was sneaking into the Chiaki's family's mansion, I'm not hating. I respect the game. What you say, baby? You want me to? Okay, I'll get off. I'll stop streaming in a little bit, baby, and we can watch the movie together. But yeah, I mean, I guess they could have had a surrogate, but like, that doesn't feel like a move in this series, just because um we've seen like medicinal magic, but we haven't seen it utilized like that heavily yet. But yeah, but yeah, those are my like. So like, let me go around. Final thoughts on the chapter overall, just so I can hang out with my kid because she wants me to watch the movie with her. Um, good flashback. Like, glad we're keeping pace. Glad we're committed to this because when I say like it'd be nice to cut to Chihiro, what I really mean is like if after like 7 to 8 chapters we get a little update on Chihiro and then get back into the meat of the war arc flashback. Um, I like that we're getting characterization for Subaru, establishing the dynamic. Everything is being made to be very believable and like immersive. And I think that's the important part is that like I'm a big suspension of disbelief person. So when I'm reading or watching something, I don't care how fantastical it is as long as it's believable within the context of the narrative and the rules you establish. So I would love to see like just keep it cohesive. Right now, we're on a really good track with the dots and Saki things that are like it's established. Barely anybody can do anything with it. We see that like even this guy is like, no, I don't know a bunch of stuff about fancy materials. It's all about like my actual craftsmanship itself, and that being highlighted is it's the ability to work with, because that also means that you're playing a game where you're doing swordsmanship and you're having a craft that you're crafting at lower temperatures, which is actually going to be harder to mold and shape the ore. So there's a lot of technical detail that goes into this that I think like Hokusano's really thought through on why it would be so volatile, because if you just heat it up like a regular metal, you get blown up. If you just try to like shape it with your spirit energy, you get blown up. So it's obviously going to be like a balance of the two, and like where like maybe you use spirit energy, like you get it close to that melting point, and then you use spirit energy to push the shaping past that extra threshold, which is why I think like channeling spirit energy through the hammer and stuff is going to be the key ingredient there, is like shaping and forging the cracks, etc. um but yeah, like just giving us like the details on what the problem, because a lot of series also, I'll say this, they'll introduce something like Datensaki, and then they'll be like, yeah, I cracked it, we just need to do this. But this one is actually highlighting multiple issues with this ore, so that their genius is like, because ingenious is also very poorly written typically, so this is a really good way to write this. So yeah, but we're getting more Shiba antics, which I'm always here for, especially because like, yes, Shiba's kind of funny and goofy nowadays, but I'd say he's still a fairly serious character. And so seeing him, he's considerably lighter in this flashback than he is currently, so I like seeing that too, because it's obvious that like this life has impacted him. um And like I said, RIP, RIP to the homeboy. Mashiro, you not making it, but we'll appreciate the journey with you. It's not about the destination, it's about the ride. Um, and then just really, I think what I'm looking forward to most is that first sword. Like right now, like my short term thing that I'm looking forward to the most is that first sword that Kunishige and Subaru make together. Because they're gonna be cooking in the lab. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be like when like that video for Drake and Future where they was working all the part time jobs. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. That's how I imagine it. Them at the damn tech store, at the in the kitchen, all that. That's how I imagine these two. Like that's the dynamic I'm expecting. Drake and Future, and that one video that was for the reason I can't remember the name of the song for right now. But yeah, I did actually end up hitting almost an hour. I thought I wouldn't, but I'm a certified yapologist, so I did. But yeah, I appreciate you guys that came through. Blob, Alves, uh, I'm sure Mello was in the chat at some point. Cameron Bailey, everybody's here. Tiger Blaster, you come through every weekend as well. Appreciate you guys. You already know I'm going to be back next week. Also, as a side note, um, I was right in my Dondadon stream, and then like I didn't stream Dondadon this past Monday, and deeply regretted it once I read it, because I was like, shit, I was right. So I'm just saying that here. Um, if you ever start to stream something, you make content about something, you probably should keep doing it, because if you end up being right about your predictions, you got to be able to follow up on screen, because nobody cares after the week something happens. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming through. Gonna hang out with my daughter and drop into Rio 2 halfway through the movie. Appreciate